Today on the Voyager, there's a couple things I want to try. Kind of take you guys on the little exploratory journey here. But I figured, once I'm well, and of course if I take a nice long trip, I might want to put something back here. Some sort of luggage thing or whatever, but I'm going to want to tie it down. And looking down here, yeah, I guess I could sort of stretch it around this frame rail that's right here or over here, but I'd rather have something that I can use that's not going to possibly bar anything up, rub against the chrome, or even possibly touch the bag. So I'm going to see if I can utilize this hole right here, right there, for something special. Also, there's an axle nut down there that's bare with a cotter pin that really bothers me. So let me go ahead and take this bag off. To make it a little bit easier, I do have these internal bags. That way I can grab all the contents. And then, of course, I've got it rigged where this bag comes off with knobs. There's no bolts or anything anymore. So the bag's out. And, of course, I do have these knobs. Here's one of them right here. And there's two more, and that makes taking these bags off nice and easy. I have a whole separate video about that shows the knobs, along with where I bought them and everything else. So let me go ahead and remove those and pull this bag off. It's the three knobs that I use instead of bolts. And of course the bag is now removed. This is what I need to go ahead and access today. So I'll be going ahead and pulling this bolt out of here and seeing if I can experiment with something. I'll take you guys through that. That's this one right in here. And this is the axle nut down here. It just drives me crazy. I don't like that being open. It can collect dirt, water, dust, all that stuff. And I really want to try to go ahead and clean that up and cover it. So I don't know if what I bought is going to be big enough, but let me see if this one works. That's the biggest one I could find. I did get a 4-inch version of these things that I actually put over my exhaust pipe for when I wash it. That way no water gets up in there. But for now, let's see if this works. I'm going to need a couple hands, guys, and of course this just goes ahead and pushes on. So let me see if I can get it on that nut. I got lucky. And it goes ahead and it fits. It's sort of snug. I can't see how that's going to be coming off. Let me see if I have any smaller ones. I did buy quite a few different sizes. It'd be nice if I got one that fit on there just a bit tighter. But so far this seems to work. Again, that'll just keep the dust, dirt, and debris off of that nut for when I go ahead and pull the rear wheel eventually to change the tire. So this is the one here I just had on there. I may end up using this. However, I might put just a pinch of Lexan on the inside of this, which is a really strong adhesive sealant. But yeah, it comes off. But it's really what's going to help to hold this in place. Here's the smaller one. I don't know if that'll work or not, if it'll stretch far enough to fit over that nut, but let me go ahead and try it. I may have to get in here and try to stretch this open a bit. But first I'll try it like this, but I really would like to have a more of a snug fit. It is a bit too snug for it, and I need something kind of between this size and that size. But I usually try some pliers, and I try to open it up and actually stretch these a little bit. So let me go ahead and work on getting this stretched and see if I can get a snugger fit. So that worked between stretching it inside the lineman's pliers and using a little 90-degree awl. I was able to just kind of go ahead and stretch this around, slide it on. So now I have some protection from dirt, debris, water, all that stuff on that nut, which is really nice. And of course you guys can see where I've kind of put on these little covers and stuff here to protect the rest of the bolts. It not only looks good, but it also just keeps things from rusting up. If the chrome is damaged, then it actually has some of the metal exposed. So that's all I wanted to do. Okay, so that's done, and now I need to come up here and pull this one bolt out of this hole and see if I can try one of my little gadgets up there I can tell you guys about. Okay, so I've tried everything here. These little screws in here, little 4mm hex head type, they're not going to work. They're too short. The hole is too small for what I need. And I looked at everything. I looked at possibly using this, but by the time I drill a hole through it, I'm going to have to remove so much material for the size of the bolts that I have to use because of those extended spacers. This won't work. So I was about ready to throw in the towel, and then I came up with an idea. What if I used this metal plate built into the saddlebag? Actually had that little extension sticking out there that I could put a bungee cord around. And basically it's this area right here. This little guy right here. Just have to make sure I line it up so that it goes through the center of here, and I have plenty of room for the nut and everything else. So I need to take a better look at this. Take some good measurements, because basically what it's going to look like, if, that's only if, I'm able to pull this off, it'll end up looking something like this. So you can see it's got plenty of room for me to put the hook of a bungee cord around it. It'll be tucked away, it'll have plenty of room. I already tried it on this side of the bike, on that saddlebag, and that'll give me a nice area. So again, I have to see where I can put this so it's going to line up and allow room on the other side for the actual nut that I have to use for this. So let me have a better look at this. Alright, so this is what I came up with. Of course, you guys know I have a whole storehouse over there of different types of hardware, things like that. I also had these nice giant rubber washers. So on the outside of the bag is going to sit, of course, the bolt, the actual part that I'm going to be able to use to fasten J-hooks from a bungee cord on. This rubber washer here is going to go here. Then the bag itself, followed by this washer here on the inside and this nut. And then I can basically just hold this in place, crank it down. This is a nylon nut that I, again, just happen to have laying around, because it comes with all this stuff here, different size bolts. Again, this is made for a Harley. That's why they give you all this stuff. It's not made for what I'm doing. I just wanted it because of, well, because of this stuff right here. So anyway, that's what I came up with. Again, you'll have to dig around for the different hardware. You can even go to a Lowe's, Home Depot, or even Ace Hardware and try to come up with whatever type of hardware you want. Again, I just happen to have all this stuff. So let me see if I can get this on the bike. This rubber washer, of course, from the outside will be a nice way, once I tighten this down, to make it all waterproof so water cannot infiltrate the inside of the bag. And then, like I said, I just need to hold this down. So let me go ahead and get a hole drilled, and let's see if I can come up with something. And I just held this in place here, right between these top two screws as far as it could go. And that looks like it's going to go right down in between that hook down there where I need it. And then I just stuck a pencil down inside the hole, made a nice mark. You can sort of see it right here. Now I'm going to use a loaded center punch, which is this little guy here. You press down and it's spring loaded. It actually makes a nice dent. And of course I'll start with a small hole in there first to make sure everything's all lined up. Worst case scenario is I drill in there, it doesn't work, and I have plenty of rubber inserts and stuff to be able to plug the hole, and then it's no harm, no foul. Alright, that little shiny thing right in between the two pop rivets there, that's my indentation from the loaded punch. Here's the tape, left the bottom kind of loose so that it kind of flings it out. We're catching on this paper towel. And this is when I usually get the comments about, oh God, Tank, you sure did waste a lot of tape. Yeah, wow, you're right, a whole nickel's worth versus how much to go ahead and repaint the bag. So what I'm getting at is don't be stingy on the tape, guys. Make sure everything is protected. You don't need hot shavings making a mess out of the bag, even if it's on the inside. So again, let me go ahead and see about drilling a pilot hole, and that way I can check this side and the inside, make sure everything's lined up, because I'll make it small enough where I can actually move the pilot hole if I had to. Okay, that's the pilot hole there. Let me go ahead and show you. It did walk a little over on the inside. Throw that as a marker. Down here it's walked a little bit towards the front of the bag, but that's okay. I mean, I don't mind at all. By the time I get the nut and all that, you'll barely notice it. But at least it is right in the middle where I needed to have plenty of room for the nut. So now what I need to do is open up this hole to be able to fit the bolt. Again, just take your time with this. This outside was actually pretty soft, relatively speaking. The inside here, I think this is stainless, so that was a heck of a lot harder. So just take your time, apply the equal pressure, and you can see where the metal shavings went down here. Didn't touch the bag though, ended up there, maybe touched here momentarily. On the inside of the bag, I had a paper towel to catch that, and of course I'll either blow out or vacuum this out when I'm done. So let's go ahead and open up that hole and test fit everything. Okay, so I just need to tighten this down, make sure it's all centered up, the bolt and all that. Right now it's a little loose, but you can see I have the washer and all that stuff down in there, and it looks like the nut is pretty well centered up on this side. Maybe not left to right, it's off just about a 32nd of an inch. But on this side here, we should be good. Again, I just need to tighten this down, and I can make it nice and snug because of the rubber giving way, and at the same time it is a metal plate here and on the inside. So let me go ahead and snug this down and kind of show you guys what it looks like. Then I'll take the tape off, which I had a bunch of shavings, I already got rid of those, and this will take care of the first one. The first one's always the toughest, trying to figure out where it goes and all that stuff. So again, don't lose your patience, just take your time if you're going to do something crazy like this. Like I said, I just hate the fact that there's no place to tie something down, especially with a bungee cord. Again, you could use the frame down there, but I just don't want it digging into the chrome plated plastic or any of that stuff. Plus on these bikes, there's no like grab rail over here like there are on, I think the Goldwing has them, I think the Yamaha Venture had them, but the Kawasaki's don't. So once again guys, we're kind of stuck. There's only so much you can get for this bike, otherwise you have to modify stuff yourself, just like I had to do with the luggage rack on the back. So anyway, let me get that tightened down and then get this bag all spiffied up, and I'll go ahead and install it on the other side. You can kind of see what the heck that came out like. Okay, so when I go to tighten this down with those soft rubber washers, they're too soft. They kind of just squish out of the side. I even tried a smaller one that squished out too, and I don't want these to be loose on there, because if I have a bungee cord hook around it and stuff, that's going to be putting some strain on it. So I was able to find these. These are really, really hard, almost rubber nylon mix, or actually I think it might even be polyurethane, but the hose are too small. And of course, if you use a drill, it's hard to hold it. The drill wants to bounce around, so I'm going to use this little kit. Oh my god, I got this tool about probably 15-20 years ago, but it has different size punches and the holes and all that stuff, and I can actually line this up and punch a perfect hole through here. Again, this is just some old tool that I got a long time ago from probably Harbor Freight, where I get a lot of stuff. So let me go ahead and punch these holes out and see if these work when I tighten that down, and they don't kind of squish out and balloon and look like a mess. Alright, so that worked pretty good. It did move just a little bit. I can see they're not perfectly centered, but they're at least enough where I can twist them while I tighten it down and have these look a lot better than the other ones. So let me go ahead and try, this one's the most wonky, let me go ahead and try this one first and see how that tightens up. Alright, so that worked out pretty good. That's what you'll see when you look down the side of the bag, and I'll pop it out so you guys can have a look. And let's see if there's any way at all I can dress up this nut here so that looks more finished off, because right now, I don't know, I just don't like the look of it. Alright, so coming up on the bike with the bag open. Of course it's empty right now. Kind of look down, you see chrome and black on the shock, you see chrome and black everywhere, and then you see chrome and black on what I just added. And I was able to actually find you kind of look on the inside, you can see the little kind of vinyl black cover I was able to find to hide that nut to kind of dress it up a bit. And even with the top down, that's what it ends up looking like. So now you can see I can get down there and put a hook on without damaging or rubbing the paint off anything on the bike. Kind of like as if that's what it's made for. So I still need to do the other side, but let me just go ahead and finish up and I'll show you the whole bike complete. But that's basically how it comes on. I'm pretty proud of that. And again, at least it is going through 2 pieces of steel, so it is nice and sturdy. In this video, of course, you notice I didn't talk about drill sizes or anything like that. It depends on what bolts you end up using. I don't want to go ahead and lead you guys down the wrong path and tell you to use a certain drill and then use a smaller bolt and then you're all mad. So anyway, that's the way it came out. This is the left side. Here's the right side. And it actually looks pretty darn nice, man. It actually looks like it came with the bike. I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. On the inside, like I said, the hardware is all finished off. And now, at least if I want to strap something back here on this seat, I can. I can tie down places there. Back here on this one, this luggage rack, here and here and here and here is what I would use to come over. I have special straps that actually fit onto this, because it's only for something like a bedroll or some sort of, I don't know, something that's light, because you can't put a lot of weight on this trunk anyway. So between that, the back seat, proper tie-down points now. I don't have to worry about tearing up my bike just to be able to carry something. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys out. I'll put some links on as to where I bought these parts here, and at least I did take you down the road on some of the stuff you need to get on your own. It's not easy. Again, there's not a whole lot of stuff for the Voyagers. You can make things happen. You just have to be able to fabricate it yourself. And to me, there's nothing better than if you're going to drill into something, you're drilling into metal, because you can always put a rubber plug in it if you made a mistake. So anyway, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for future content. I'll go ahead and get this on YouTube just as quickly as I can. Thanks for watching.